I remember the days when I was young with my brother. We would go out to dinner, and he always had a knack for ordering the most expensive thing on the menu. And usually it was shrimp, because shrimp was wild, it was delicious, and actually it was very rare. Well, you may not know it, but shrimp now is the second most consumed fish and seafood item in the United States. And our appetite for shrimp has caused a lot of problems with the environment. Mangroves that have been cut down, depletion as a result of bad farming practices, so many things that have come from the love of just this little pink, sweet shellfish. So I want to talk to you about this because it's very important whenever you're looking for shrimp to make sure that you know what you're looking for so that it's totally sustainable when you have a craving for it, just like I have. The first thing is, if you're going to buy farm shrimp, and it's perfectly fine, there are sustainable farms, but you want to look for something called the BAP certification. What that is the best aquaculture practices founded by the Global Aquaculture Alliance, and you want to look for a shrimp that is 4-star. What that means is that the farm, the feed, all of the components that go into raising this fish, the processing, are all sustainable. And you'll see it on the label. It's in blue and it says BAP 4-star, and it'll even have the number of the shrimp farm. So you can actually look it up online on the BAP website. Or you can use wild shrimp, but you want to make sure that it's either certified by the Marine Stewardship Council or by Seafood Watch. The one I have today is actually one that is very close to my heart. This is Del Pacifico shrimp. And Del Pacifico shrimp is a Mexican wild shrimp that is fair trade certified. And what that means is that not only is it MSC certified and properly harvested so that we're not depleting that fishery in Mexico, but it also means that there is a premium paid on this that goes back to the workers to do things like build schools and soccer fields and all of the great contribution that you would want in a fisher community. So once we're done there, what I've done is I very, very gently poached the shrimp in salted boiling water. And this will cook very quickly. So what I recommend is just putting a few into a small saucepan into the boiling water and then pull them out when they're done and put them in a bowl of ice water. So you just keep doing it in batches so that they don't overcook. They're so special that you don't want them to end up being chewy. Now, this recipe is one of my favorites for wintertime, a delicious comfort food with this wonderful shellfish. It's a shrimp and pesto pasta. So what I've done is I've started out with a great Italian pasta made with semolina flour that I can truly cook al dente. Remember that when you cook this pasta, you want the water to be salty like the sea. So if you're not sure what that means, I'd recommend taking a handful of kosher salt, putting it into the pot, letting it come to a boil, and then tasting it, seeing if you need a little bit more salt. It really is the only way we get that pasta seasoned. So I want to make sure that it really has that great flavor. Now, the next component of this, super simple, is pesto. I mean, this delicious Italian almost sauce that goes over so many things. And this is just made with fresh basil and a little bit of shallot, Parmesan cheese, and of course olive oil, garlic. And what you want to do is taste it. Make sure that it has that brightness, or you'll want to add a little bit of extra lemon. And it's perfectly fine if you want to buy it store-bought. Just make sure that it's fresh. Maybe there's a local Italian shop that you love. You could support that local restaurant by buying their fresh pesto. And then I just toss this. I want to get this coated. I'll probably need a little bit more, but I'm going to be careful about how much I add to start with because I don't want it to be overly saucy. I'm going to get the rest of that in there. This is one of my favorites. And any extra, just have a great piece of Italian bread and dip it in that pesto. It's so good. It's one of my very favorite things. Better than butter is a great fresh pesto. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our shrimp. So we've made sure that the shrimp is very dry. It's room temperature because this is a pesto. This pasta is going to get served right away. So I'm getting that in there, and I'm making sure, do you see how I have a little water in the bottom of the bowl? Don't want to get that in there. I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to toss this together. Along with, I'm going to add some toasted pine nuts. And I have to give you a little secret here. If I'm gonna burn anything, it's always gonna be the nuts, and 99% of the time, it's going to be pine nuts because they're so oily that they brown really quickly. So here's a tip. Put them in a hot oven, in a pan, in a single layer, and then just watch them. Once you can smell it and they're browned, they're finished and ready to go. So I've got that great toasted pine nut. Don't use the raw ones because they're a little bitter. Take the time just to toast any nuts that you're using. And then the final bit for this simple, delicious shrimp and pesto pasta is going to be a little freshly shredded Parmesan cheese. And then what I will always do is just check it with a little bit of lemon juice. Make sure that you test it, you taste it, and that it's bright enough for you. And it's ready to go. Something delicious for dinner, easy, simple to serve, that everyone will enjoy. A little shrimp and pesto pasta with sustainable Del Pacifico Fairtrade shrimp.